Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for coming. Obviously looking forward to a trip to Akron. Very important football game for our team. Last regular season contest for our seniors, and looking to rebound off of a tough loss the other night. So, got a short week here. Got to have a great week of prep, condensed with our time, and really got to use that wisely to get a good plan together to go play well. And excited about the opportunity to do that. So, that being said, I'll take your questions.
You mentioned the condensed week. Just how much does that change with preparation having one less day? Is that
Yeah, I mean, I think you're condensed on both ends, and I think, regardless, it's hard, hard enough, no matter who the opponent is. I mean, Akron's got a pretty sophisticated plan on offense, so we got to get our eyes in the right place on defense. And now, with this a short week coming at the end of the season, you can almost overwhelm and consume yourself with so much videotape because there's, 11 game sample size here rather than just one or two. So you got to be really dialed in detail with how you use your time and spend that wisely so you can get your players in the best position to be successful. And they got to do a great job of, paying attention to what matters and have their focus in the right place if we're going to have a chance to go play well.
Yeah, and looking at them, obviously they're coming off a big win. The record probably doesn't show how good they are, but just kind of what sticks out when you look at them.
Yeah, I mean, I think a very confident team. Obviously that's a huge win for them. Those schools being in that, that close proximity to one another. And, I'm from over that way, so I understand what that rivalry means to that part of the state and, and into those two institutions. So huge win for them, playing with some good confidence. Like I said, a motivated team, and, that I'm sure, is getting the same message our guys is getting in their locker room and their team meeting about, the potential last game for their senior class and doing it the right way.
You mentioned the message, obviously coming off an emotional loss, obviously on Wednesday, trying to now shift that toward the regular season finale. Just how difficult was that? How easy is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously hard. Our guys have, very indebted to our senior class here. These guys have done a lot for us, and I wear that one pretty heavy on my own, mind as far as they didn't get a chance to win their last game here in the Glass Bowl, and they've had lots of victories to celebrate, lots of cool things that have happened to them in their careers. Many of them are going to go on to way bigger and better things than what Toledo football is. So, it's a big deal right now because it's in the moment. Maybe down the road it maybe isn't, but I take a lot of pride personally in making sure that those guys have as good of an experience as they can while they're here, and that's part of the process. And so is this. So, you gotta turn the page. I mean, I would say that. We're 7-4 team. I don't want to be 7-4. Our players don't want to be 7-4, but we sure as hell aren't 2-9 either. So we're not going to act that way. We're going to get back up. We're going to play. We're going to fight, and we're going to go do whatever we can to get this win here. This week.
I know Tucker got banged up a little bit at the end. John Allen came in. Is there anything in terms of the quarterback situation? Just going to play that by ear?
No. They'll see how it goes and plays itself out.
You talked about the senior class, and the final game, but more just as a whole throughout their careers. What could you say about what they've brought to Toledo as a program?
Yeah, I mean, there's always one of you that are going to ask some question to make me emotional. I think that, those guys, this group is, like I take a Dan Bolden, I take a Jerwan Newton, Anthony Torres, like they've come into this place at a different time, in their careers. Each guy's got its own story, but I think the common thread there is that they help change and motivate and move it forward in so many ways that, some of these guys came in when it was COVID. We couldn't lift in more than 4 people in a weight room at a time. Like, we're wiping down boxes and packages before they get into the building. Like, I think people think that was 30 years ago. That wasn't that long ago. So their experiences and how they were ingrained to the culture of the team and really changed the culture of the team to a certain extent a little bit. I mean, there was a couple of tough times there. We weren't very good there in 18 and 19, and in my opinion. And, then COVID happens. So where's it go and how's it go from there? And these guys have really led the charge that way. So, I think that they're clear examples of guys that, for the most part, we still have some mistakes. We still have some learning curves that still continue to push past, but they've been who they said they were going to be, and that's all I've ever really asked them to do. I mean, I've asked them to leave Toledo a better place than what they found it. They've done that. They continue to do that. they will continue to do that in the future, no matter what happens in this football game on Tuesday night. I hope we get to a good bowl game and we can have a great experience that way as a team together, and they can finish this off the right way. So they mean a tremendous amount to me, and they mean a tremendous amount to this program, and looking forward to finishing off the right way with them.
To piggyback off that, just what's it like to be able to share the field with them on the field, on the sidelines, coaching them, obviously giving them an opportunity next week to do so?
Yeah. Yeah, your time is valuable. It kind of puts in perspective, like, how fast it really does go, and these guys come in here as young men, and you watch them grow through the good times, the bad times. Almost every one of those guys has dealt with some type of injury, and, watching them grow through that process, like, that's why you do it. That's why you coach. So, yeah, like I said, mean a great deal to me.